Hey everyone, it's Jessica, and today I'm going to be sharing with you guys the makeup that I wore on my wedding day. I've had a lot of questions about this. This is not going to be a tutorial video. There are so many of those on YouTube that are amazing, but this is going to be more of like a shopping guide. That's what I kind of found when I was looking through YouTube videos trying to find kind of what makeup to buy. I used a lot of tutorials to kind of build my own idea of what I wanted, but I really wanted just kind of like a full list of trustworthy makeup for weddings. And what I found is there were a lot of lists, but most of them only listed one item for each thing, like one primer, one foundation, one mascara, and I kind of wanted to have options. A lot of them were really expensive, and I'm gonna name a lot of expensive products, but with every single product I mention, I'm also gonna tell you about a drugstore dupe for it, or at least maybe not a 100% dupe, but one that performs the exact same way. With that in mind, every product that I mentioned is something that I trust to last an entire day through 100-degree heat. My reception was outside, and it was 100 degrees that day, so it lasted the entire day. And not only that, but it's got to look good in photography, so things that don't have SPF. So every product that I mention is going to be listed below with a link, and it'll be organized by what I'm talking about and in order. So if you want, you can copy and paste that sucker, print it out, go to the store, and use it as a shopping guide. I would have loved to have had that, so hopefully this will help you guys. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into it. I'm wearing a lot of the products on my face today. I kind of recreated my bridal look, but I changed a few things, and I'll mention those as we go through. Let's talk about primers. The one that I wore on my wedding day was the Tarte Clean Slate Poreless. This is a clear primer that's kind of silicone based. It's got that like slippery feel to it, but when you press it into your skin, it really does hold on to your foundation all day. I would recommend drugstore-wise the Maybelline Master Prime by Face Studio Primer. And this is their Blur and Smooth one. They have a few different ones, but this is the one that's got kind of the light blue packaging with the black. Now, the Maybelline Master Prime is not clear in the same way, but they perform the same way under foundation that I've found. So I would trust both of these with my wedding day. The next thing that would go on, foundation. So I wore on my wedding day the Makeup Forever HD foundation. Now they just redid this formula, but I'm pretty sure it's still pretty similar. This is really expensive, to be honest with you guys. I kind of regretted buying this because while it was great and it looks great in photography, it is the exact same to me as the Revlon Color Stay Whipped. This is one of my holy grail foundations I've loved forever. I wear it in the shade 150 Buff. It's just a jar, and it really is like a thicker foundation, but when you apply it either with your fingers or a beauty blender or a brush, it looks flawless and beautiful. It's what I'm wearing today. This is great, but this is just as good, and honestly, I think if I redid it, I would just not spend the money and just use this because it's amazing. Another one I would recommend, none of these have SPF, is the L'Oreal Pro Matte Foundation. If you can find one in your shade, this is really, really nice too. I would definitely say these are very, very comparable. All three of these are trustworthy and amazing, and they'll look great in photos and last through the heat. The next thing that I typically put on is concealer. I have 4 concealers to mention today. The 2 expensive ones that I kind of wore together on my wedding day, this is the IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Under Eye. It's a really thick concealer, very, very light, and this is in the shade light, but I usually do that triangle under my eyes. I also use the Tarte Maracuja Creaseless Concealer. This one is a little bit more of like a dewy finish, if that makes any sense. So you do have to set it with the powder, but both of these are very similar and amazing. I think I like the IT Cosmetics one just a little bit better, but I kind of mixed them both on my wedding day and put them under my eye. But either way you go, they're great. They don't crease. They really, really have high coverage. The drugstore versions I wanted to recommend, first is the Hard Candy Glamouflage Concealer. This is found at Walmart. It can be hard to find if you're not near a Walmart, or maybe your Walmart doesn't have as much of a selection. I love this stuff. It's just as thick. I would consider it an absolute dupe for them, and it stays all day. Another one, if you don't want it to be as thick, is the Master Conceal by Maybelline. This one is a similar packaging, and it's got pretty good coverage, not as much, but it's a lot thinner. So if you know you don't like those thicker concealers, this might be a great option for you. Let's talk about bronzing and contouring. Now, I ended up contouring my face, and I didn't put any bronzer. I actually used my contour powder as my bronzer. I did the same thing today. I used a really expensive product though. This is the Kevyn Aucoin Sculpting Powder in Medium. This is amazing. I've hit pan. I will repurchase it when it runs out because it doesn't move all day. It's that perfect kind of gray tone, and it just works for everyone that has a lighter skin tone like I do. It is amazing. However, a lot of people recommended to me before I bought that the NYX HD powder in taupe, but this is a lot darker now. I think they redid the formula, and I don't even think it's coming across on camera. It's way darker. It's nice, but it would be better for a deeper skin tone. I now would recommend, now that I found it, the e.l.f. Contour Palette. I just did a demo and review of this palette. It's $6. It has everything you could need, and this kind of taupe shade there is perfect. It is so amazing. I cannot recommend this highly enough. It is amazing. And this yellow shade right here, I used to set my under eye today. Beautiful. You can use it to highlight your face without having any shimmer in it. It is incredible. Now for blush, the one I wore on my wedding day is the Balm Down Boy blush. This is kind of pricey, regularly priced, but on HauteLook, which is when I bought it, it's like $10 on there. So if you can catch it, it's just a beautiful light pink. I would recommend going with a matte blush just because you can add highlight and like glimmer if you want with an actual highlighting powder, because when you have it in your blush, you make the whole area there almost too shimmery. So I would recommend getting a matte one. I love this. These do not move. The balm blushes don't move. I would also recommend Drugstore wise the Milani blushes, but not the shimmery ones. They have a few matte ones. This is another one that's a matte pink. It's in the shade Delicioso Pink. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Doesn't budge all day. Another one, the e.l.f. Studio Blushes. They have a pretty good color range. This one's in Candid Coral. It's my personal favorite. It's a light peach, so if you knew you didn't want to go the pink route, you could definitely go with one of these. And then, of course, the Tarte blushes are amazing. They recently sent me a ton of them, and this is the one out of all of them I picked out. This is in Flush, and it's another light pink. So I would say, depending on your budget, there are so many amazing options, but really, the e.l.f. and Milani ones are amazing. All right, for highlight, the one that I wore and the one I'm wearing today is by Hard Candy. So it's like an $8 product about, and it's their bronzer in the shade Tiki, and it's clearly more of a highlight. It's a beautiful golden highlight. I love it. Now, you do, I mean, this is, I think this is more than what I wore on my wedding day. I did use a lighter hand because I didn't want it to capture in the light, but if you're really scared about that, or maybe you already have oily skin and you're scared that oil will come through, I would say don't go with one as shimmery as this. I would say go with like an Hourglass powder. This is their ambient lighting palette. It's really, really expensive. But this shade right over here is beautiful because it's not too shimmery. It's just kind of got a glow to it. All of these are beautiful. Now, the drugstore option, one of my holy grails, is the Wet n Wild Color Icon Bronzer in Reserve Your Cabana. It's no secret that this is like a dupe for that shade I just showed you. It's just got a glimmer to it, but it's not shimmery at all. It's beautiful. You can use this all over your face and you never look crazy. So those are my favorite highlights for bridal. Now for brows, I like to use pencils. I use the Anastasia Brow Wiz. It's what I use today, and I use it in medium brown. And then I use the Anastasia Brow Gel just because it really is like hairspray for your brows. They do not move. However, the e.l.f. brow, I don't know what it's called, it's rubbed off, but I have a demo with this I can link below as well. The e.l.f. brow duos where it's got the pencil and then the spoolie, they're amazing. I honestly switch between both of these because I like them both so much. And then the NYX Control Free Brow Gel doesn't hold as strong as the Anastasia one, but if your eyebrows aren't unruly, it's gonna hold exactly as much as you need. So definitely great. This is only $5 versus like 20-something dollars. Now to set your makeup, I bought the Ben Nye Final Seal specifically for my wedding, but I ended up using it a lot on my honeymoon as well. It is hairspray for your face. Your face, it just stays the same. It really is incredible. However, the L'Oreal Infallible Spray is very similar. They both have alcohol in it, so I wouldn't use it every day, but for your wedding day or for a special event, these both hold on to your makeup really, really well. Honestly, this was like $14. This was like $12 online for this smaller size, so I would say go with the Ben Nye. Now, for powder on your face, this is kind of out of order now. On my wedding day, I used the MAC Mineralized Skin Finish Natural. However, I realized since that this breaks me out like crazy. So if you know it doesn't break you out, go for it, but I can't use it now. So a perfect dupe for this is the NYX Stay Matte But Not Flat Powder Foundation. You can get it in, you know, whatever shade you need, and it's really, really high coverage. You can use it to set your under eye. You can use it just to highlight certain areas if you get like a lighter color than what you typically wear. Otherwise, it just soaks up the oil that you need soaked up really quickly. This is one that I would like have, maybe a bridesmaid can have in a nearby location if you need to kind of touch up because you're oily. This is amazing. And then I would also recommend, if you're not too oily and you don't want to look cakey, the Rimmel Stay Matte is amazing. This is my old one I'm still trying to use up. I just bought a new one yesterday. I love this so much. It's like $4 or $5 at the drugstore. Fantastic powder. However, this one does not have super high coverage, so if that's what you're looking for, go with the NYX one. All right, so to prime your eyes, now we're moving on to eyes. On my wedding day, I used the Too Faced Shadow Insurance. However, this is expensive for what it is, and what I use today and what I use most days is the Milani Eyeshadow Primer. It's the exact same product. It holds onto your shadow the exact same, but it's like half the price, if not more. I would also recommend the Wet n Wild by Fergie Take On The Day Eyeshadow Primer. Again, these all, you squeeze them out, there's got a little bit of a nude color to it, you rub it on your eyes, holds onto shadow, that's its job, and they all do the exact same job. Now, for shadow, I've gotten this question a lot. What I'm wearing on my eyes today is from the Lorac Pro palette. If you are going to splurge on one item for your wedding, I would recommend this. This is all I needed. I ended up grabbing like a few shadows from different things because I took a long time to do my makeup because, you know, it's my wedding day. I wanted to take my time. But I could have only used this palette. So what I did today is I used this nude shade here. It's a really shimmery white color on the inner part of my lid. I used light bronze kind of on the outer part of my lid. Then I used taupe all over in my crease. And then I used a little bit of mauve as well. I kind of mixed them and did that. Then I used the matte black on the outer corner and on the outer part of my crease as well. It blends beautifully. So it never looks like a scary black, it just blends really, really nicely. And then I used this cream matte shade on my brow bone, and then I just mixed it all together, threw a little bit more of the nude on top, and you're good to go. That's all I did. I mean, it's so simple, and yet it can look really, really elegant. You can do, if you wanted some pops of color, you needed more browns, they're in there. It's got everything you need. It's expensive, but it's worth it. It is worth every penny. Now, some other recommendations if you are on a budget though still. The Hard Candy Naturalized palette has some, it's like $8 at Walmart. It has some shimmery shades here that are absolutely gorgeous. And then it also has some beautiful matte shades. It's everything you would need. The only thing I would say is instead of this dark brown, maybe get like a matte black shadow that's really inexpensive from the drugstore, and then you've got everything you could need anyway. So this is incredible, and it has its own primer there. I would also say you could get some e.l.f. shadows. I have my e.l.f. shadows in a MAC palette here. e.l.f. has $1 eyeshadow pans that fit in, they sell their own little palettes, but you can also get a MAC palette for actually pretty cheap and fill it whatever you want. You could also get a Z palette. The e.l.f. shadows are $1 and they're amazing. They are just as good, if not more buttery than like MAC shadows are. I can't recommend those enough. So then you can pick the exact colors you want. Now for eyeliner, the NYC eyeliner pencil, it's a gel liner and it's waterproof. It's so cheap, it's under $5. It's so black and it does not move. It really is waterproof. So this is my one liner recommendation. I've got tons of high-end black eyeliner pencils, but none of them are any better than this. So this is just the one I would recommend. I would also, however, recommend wearing a cream or a gel eyeliner for your wedding. That's what I wore. That's what I wear every day on my upper lash line. But I love the L'Oreal 24-hour lacquer liner. It's incredible. It does not move. You can do a really thick line, whatever you want, you can do with this. It is amazing. So that's what I would recommend. The Maybelline one, I don't own it anymore. I'll probably buy that next. I always switch between the Maybelline one and this, but the Maybelline one I'll link below. Just as amazing. They're exactly the same. They're both incredibly black and don't budge. Now, if you're a liquid liner gal, which I triple layer, I do pencil, then the cream liner, then liquid liner. This is a high-end product. It's, I want to say, more than $20 or maybe right around $20. It's the Stila Stay All Day Waterproof Liquid Liner. This is the best liquid liner I've ever used in my entire life. I can't even recommend another one to you from the drugstore because I've never found one that's anywhere close to this. If you have recommendations, let me know below because I'm curious. but I've tried a lot. This is the best one out there. The pen is perfect. You can do like a little wing. I did a small wing, kind of like I did today, where it's barely noticeable, but enough that it kind of shapes my eye well. This is amazing. It's waterproof. It does not move. If you swatch it on your hand and let it dry, you can't get it off. You've got to get like some actual makeup remover. It is incredible, incredible. Now, on my wedding day, I did wear lashes. I had bought some mink lashes from Haute Look because I could get them really cheap on there, and I tried them out and I liked them, but I ended up wearing Ardell lashes because they looked better, and I don't know how that could be, but they did. So I wore Ardell Demi Wispies. Now, I don't have the Demi Wispies. I have some Demis and I have some Wispies, but I don't have the actual Demi Wispies. Those are the ones I would recommend. They seem to flatter so many people. You can cut them to fit your eye shape, which I did have to do. They were a little too long. But they lasted so well throughout the day. The glue that I used was the Duo Lash Glue. It's pretty good. You do need to let it dry. Watch some tutorials on YouTube about how to apply lashes. But I can't recommend the Ardell ones enough, and they're so much cheaper than mink lashes. It's crazy, especially if you're not a lash person and you're not gonna reuse them a ton after that. Just get Ardell ones. But I still put mascara on before I put the lashes on. So I wore the Maybelline Lash Discovery Waterproof Mascara. It's got a tiny, tiny brush, so you can really kind of tight line your eyes with it. And this is especially amazing for your lower lash line to get really specific with each lash. But then, I would recommend, if you aren't wearing lashes, or even if you are, the mascaras I love, my two favorite are the L'Oreal Voluminous. Now, I like the original formula better, but I did get the waterproof and wear that because I knew I was gonna cry, which I did, but none of it ran, so that's important. So, L'Oreal Voluminous I love, but then I also love the Jordana Best Lash Extreme. I haven't tried the waterproof yet, but even the regular one is so amazing. It is so amazing. It's what I'm wearing today since I'm not wearing my lashes. Now, one last thing I would recommend that you have to bring with you is the e.l.f. makeup remover pen, or any sort of makeup remover pen. It has makeup remover built in, so if you mess up or you've got like weird, like if you have lashes on and there's mascara on them and you get it at the top, you can just wipe it away and blend it in. You're good to go. It cleans it up. It's literally, I used this so much while getting ready. It was crazy. It's $3 and worth every penny. I cannot recommend that enough. So for lips, I'll show you the lipstick I wore, but I wouldn't recommend it because I wore it because it was meaningful to me, but it was not a long wearing lipstick, so it was a really bad choice. The one I wore is Edward Best is the brand. I got it on Haute Look. It's in the shade Rose Demure, and it's this really pretty, just rosy pink color. However, I've recreated what I wore with different products that are longer wearing and would just be better in general for bridal. So what I'm wearing it's an e.l.f. matte lip color. I recommend these all the time. I love e.l.f. This is one of their best products. I'm wearing the shade Dash of Pink, and it's just a really nice pink color. And I almost went with a pretty nude lip, but I'm so glad I went with more of a little bit of a pink because it's gonna stand out a little bit better in photos, and you know, photos tend to wash people out. So I was really glad I went with the pink shade. Love this one, but the e.l.f. matte line is amazing. They've got deeper shades like Berry Sorbet is like a berry color, Rich Red is like a deeper wine color, and these are fantastic because they last a long time. They dry right away because they are matte, so they just stay put. Now, the liner I would recommend, and I'm only going to recommend one because it's my favorite, it's the Rimmel Exaggerate line of lip liners. They've got reds, they've got pinks. My favorite that I'm wearing today as well is an East End Snob, and it's just, again, kind of that rosy pink color. These dry right away. They're so creamy. They don't budge. I love these liners. Another drugstore option are the Maybelline matte lipsticks. I love all of these. Lust for Blush is a favorite. It's a really pretty color. They've got deeper colors if you like that. They've got more peachy colors like Clay Crush. Those are amazing. Again, a dry matte formula. It just dries and stays put. Fantastic. However, if you were thinking that you want to splurge on a lipstick, because I mean, lipsticks are kind of personal, and a lipstick that you wear on your wedding day I think is special. Like, I will always think that this Edward Best one is a very special lipstick to me. So, if you were wanting to splurge on one, the Marc Jacobs Le Marc lip creams are it's the best lipstick I've ever tried. Like, I'm losing my mind even thinking about it. Now, this is in a bright red called Oh Miley I wore in Paris, if you saw our vlogs. I love this color, but For a wedding, I mean, I wouldn't wear red lips. Some people do, especially if it's like holiday weddings and it's just really, really beautiful. But this entire line of lipsticks are amazing. They're really, really pricey though, which is why I only have one of them. I want to get another one so badly. Anyway, that's what I would recommend if you were wanting to splurge. Now for gloss, I wouldn't go over the top with gloss, but that's my personal taste. The one gloss I'm going to recommend is a Rimmel one. I love Rimmel, clearly. It's their Stay Glossy Lip Gloss in Blushing Belgrades. It's like kind of a gray pink, but it's sheer enough, I'm wearing it today, that you can wear it with almost any color and it just kind of adds just a little bit of sheen to it, but it's not too sticky, it's not too glossy, it's just right in between. And what I did is I literally just dotted it on and kind of rubbed it in with my finger and then just let it be. I love this stuff. Hopefully this was helpful for you as you prepare for your big day. I'm so excited for you. I know how excited I was as I was preparing and nervous, but it'll all go well and you'll be so glad when it's over because it will have been an amazing day, but it's nice to get that stress done. So if you enjoyed, please subscribe for more and I'll catch you guys in my next video. Bye.